Your greatest enemy is not the people who insult you. It is not the problems you face. It is not the failures you've experienced. Your greatest enemy is your reaction. Every emotional outburst gives away your power. Every impulsive decision delays your success. Every unnecessary argument steals your peace. The strongest people are not louder, faster, or more aggressive. They are calmer, more disciplined, and impossible to control. In this audiobook, you will learn one life-changing skill: how to master the art of not reacting. People believe their biggest problem is criticism, rejection, failure, or difficult people. It isn't. The real problem is that they allow those things to control their emotions. The moment someone can make you angry, jealous, insecure, or desperate with a few words, they have taken control of your mind. You have a choice. That is where your freedom begins. The strongest people in the world are not the people who never face pressure. They are the people who refuse to let pressure control them. They understand one simple truth: your reaction is always your responsibility. That's the key. Imagine two people receiving the exact same insult. One immediately shouts back. Their heart races, their emotions explode. Hours later, they are still thinking about the argument. They cannot focus, they cannot sleep. One sentence has stolen their entire day. The second person hears the same insult. They pause, they breathe, they smile, then they walk away. 5 minutes later, they have already forgotten it. Their peace remains untouched. Who has the real power? The answer is obvious. Power belongs to the person who stays calm. This is not weakness. This is discipline. It's not about pretending you have no emotions. It's about refusing to let emotions become your master. You have a choice. Every day, people will test you. Someone will criticize you. Someone will ignore you. Someone will disappoint you. Someone will misunderstand you. You cannot control what they do. You can control what you do. That's the key. Most people spend their lives trying to control others. They want everyone to agree with them. They want everyone to respect them. They want everyone to understand them. That battle never ends. The moment you stop trying to control other people and start controlling yourself, your entire life changes. You don't need their permission to be confident. You don't need their approval to feel valuable. You don't need their praise to believe in yourself. Real confidence comes from within. Think about the most respected leaders you know. When problems appear, do they panic? Do they scream? Do they lose control? No. They slow down. They observe. They think. Then they act. Calm creates clarity. Clarity creates better decisions. Better decisions create better lives. That's the key. Now ask yourself an honest question. How many times have your emotions made your problems worse? Not the problem itself, your reaction. Maybe someone criticized your work, and instead of learning, you argued. Maybe someone ignored your message and you immediately imagined the worst. Maybe one bad day convinced you that your entire future was falling apart. The event was temporary. Your reaction made it permanent. Remember this: pain is unavoidable. Suffering is often a choice. You have a choice. The next time someone tries to provoke you, do something different. Chapter 1. Stop giving people control over your mind. Every time you react without thinking, you give away your power. Read that again. Every time you react without thinking, you give away your power. Most people believe their biggest problem is criticism, rejection, failure, or difficult people. It isn't. The real problem is that they allow those things to control their emotions. The moment someone can make you angry, jealous, insecure, or desperate with a few words, they have taken control of your mind. You have a choice. That is where your freedom begins. The strongest people in the world are not the people who never face pressure. They are the people who refuse to let pressure control them. They understand one simple truth: your reaction is always your responsibility. That's the key. Imagine two people receiving the exact same insult. One immediately shouts back. Their heart races, their emotions explode. Hours later, they are still thinking about the argument. They cannot focus, they cannot sleep. One sentence has stolen their entire day. The second person hears the same insult. They pause, they breathe, they smile, then they walk away. 5 minutes later, they have already forgotten it. Their peace remains untouched. Who has the real power? The answer is obvious. Power belongs to the person who stays calm. This is not weakness. This is discipline. It's not about pretending you have no emotions. It's about refusing to let emotions become your master. You have a choice. Every day, people will test you. Someone will criticize you. Someone will ignore you. Someone will disappoint you. Someone will misunderstand you. You cannot control what they do. You can control what you do. That's the key. Most people spend their lives trying to control others. They want everyone to agree with them. They want everyone to respect them. They want everyone to understand them. That battle never ends. The moment you stop trying to control other people and start controlling yourself, your entire life changes. You don't need their permission to be confident. You don't need their approval to feel valuable. You don't need their praise to believe in yourself. Real confidence comes from within. Think about the most respected leaders you know. When problems appear, do they panic? Do they scream? Do they lose control? No. They slow down. They observe. They think. Then they act. Calm creates clarity. Clarity creates better decisions. Better decisions create better lives. That's the key. Now ask yourself an honest question. How many times have your emotions made your problems worse? Not the problem itself, your reaction. Maybe someone criticized your work, and instead of learning, you argued. Maybe someone ignored your message and you immediately imagined the worst. Maybe one bad day convinced you that your entire future was falling apart. The event was temporary, your reaction made it permanent. Remember this, pain is unavoidable. Suffering is often a choice. You have a choice. The next time someone tries to provoke you, do something different. Chapter 2. Your emotions are not your boss. Your emotions are real, but they are not your master. That is one of the most important lessons you will ever learn. Too many people live as prisoners of their feelings. If they feel motivated, they work. If they feel tired, they quit. If they feel angry, they explode. If they feel afraid, they stay where they are. They allow temporary emotions to make permanent decisions. That is how dreams die. You have a choice. Every emotion has a purpose. Anger tells you something feels unfair. Fear warns you about possible danger. Sadness reminds you that something matters. Joy encourages you to continue what gives life meaning. Emotions are messengers. They are not leaders. That's the key. Imagine driving a car. Your emotions are the dashboard lights. They tell you what is happening inside the vehicle, but you would never let the dashboard steer the car. You are the driver. Your mind is the steering wheel. Your values are the map. Never let your emotions take the driver's seat. You have a choice. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that because they feel something, they must act on it. You feel angry, so you send the message. You feel jealous, so you compare yourself. You feel discouraged, so you stop trying. You feel rejected, so you give up. Notice the pattern. Feeling becomes action. Action becomes habit. Habit becomes character. Character becomes destiny. That's the key. Strong people break this pattern. They pause, they breathe. They observe the emotion instead of obeying it. They remind themselves, this is only a feeling. It is not a command. That single sentence can change your life because feelings change. Discipline remains. It's not about emotion, it's about discipline. A person who exercises only when they feel motivated will eventually stop. A student who studies only when they feel inspired will fall behind. An entrepreneur who works only when everything feels easy will never build anything great. The winners are not people with better emotions, they are people with better discipline. You have a choice. Think about the greatest achievements in history. They were not built on excitement alone. They were built through boring mornings, difficult afternoons, lonely evenings, days filled with doubt. Yet people kept going. Not because they always felt like it, because they decided their mission was more important than their mood. That's the key. Many people spend years trying to eliminate negative emotions. That is impossible. You cannot eliminate fear. You cannot eliminate disappointment. You cannot eliminate frustration. You are human. The goal is not to feel less. The goal is to react better. Read that again. The goal is not to feel less. The goal is to react better. You don't need their permission to stay calm. You don't need anyone else's approval to protect your peace. Someone else's bad mood does not have to become your bad mood. Someone else's anger does not have to become your anger. Someone else's negativity does not have to become your identity. You have a choice. Start practicing emotional awareness. Several times each day, stop and ask yourself 3 simple questions. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling it? What is the best response? Notice the difference, not the fastest response, not the loudest response, the best response. That's the key. Your first reaction is often emotional. Your second response can be intentional. Give yourself enough time to find it. 1 deep breath, 5 slow seconds, a moment of silence. Sometimes that is all you need. Remember this. An emotion ignored becomes stronger. An emotion understood becomes manageable. Do not suppress your feelings. Study them, observe them, learn from them, then let them pass. Clouds move across the sky. Your emotions move through your mind in exactly the same way. Do not build your house beneath every passing cloud. Wait. The sky always clears. You have a choice. Another habit that strengthens emotional control is refusing to create stories that are not true. Someone doesn't answer your message. Immediately, your mind says they are ignoring you. Someone gives you short feedback. You assume they dislike you. One mistake happens. You tell yourself you always fail. None of these thoughts are facts. They are emotional stories. Question them. Replace assumptions with evidence. Replace panic with patience. Replace fear with facts. That's the key. Mental strength is not the absence of emotion. Mental strength is the ability to stay committed while emotions rise and fall. That is what discipline looks like. Professional athletes compete while exhausted. Doctors make critical decisions under pressure. Firefighters remain calm in dangerous situations. Pilots stay focused during emergencies. They are not fearless. They are trained. Their discipline is stronger than their emotion. That same skill can be developed by anyone, including you. Every difficult moment becomes practice. Every frustrating conversation becomes training. Every disappointment becomes another opportunity to strengthen emotional discipline. Stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That simple shift changes everything, because every challenge becomes a classroom, every setback becomes a lesson, every emotional storm becomes another chance to become stronger. You have a choice. Never confuse emotional intensity with truth. Just because you feel overwhelmed does not mean you are powerless. Just because you feel afraid does not mean you cannot act. Just because you feel uncertain does not mean you are incapable. Feelings are temporary. Your decisions shape your future.
Chapter 3, Silence is a superpower. Silence is not weakness. Silence is control. Most people believe power belongs to the loudest person in the room. They think the fastest response wins the argument. They believe that if someone challenges them, they must immediately defend themselves. They are wrong. Real power is the ability to remain calm when everyone expects you to react. That's the key. Every unnecessary word costs you energy. Every pointless argument steals your focus. Every emotional response gives someone else access to your peace. You have a choice. You can react, or you can remain silent. The strongest option is often the quiet one. Think about the people who truly command respect. They do not interrupt every conversation. They do not explain every decision. They do not fight every opinion. They listen. They observe. Then they speak with purpose. Their words carry weight because they do not waste them. That's the key. Every unnecessary word costs you energy. Every pointless argument steals your focus. Every emotional response gives someone else access to your peace. You have a choice. You can react, or you can remain silent. The strongest option is often the quiet one. Think about the people who truly command respect. They do not interrupt every conversation. They do not explain every decision. They do not fight every opinion. They listen. They observe. Then they speak with purpose. Their words carry weight because they do not waste them. That's the key. The more you speak without thinking, the easier it becomes for others to understand your weaknesses. The more you argue, the more emotional you become. The more emotional you become, the more mistakes you make. Silence breaks that cycle. Silence gives you time to think. Silence gives you time to observe. Silence gives you time to choose the right response instead of the fastest one. You have a choice. Imagine someone insults you in front of other people. Most people react instantly. They defend themselves. They raise their voice. They try to win. But what happens next? The argument grows. The emotions grow. The stress grows. Nobody wins. Now imagine something different. The insult comes. You stay calm. You smile. You say nothing. The room becomes quiet. The person expected a fight. Instead, they receive nothing. Their words lose power because you refuse to give them energy. That's the key. Silence frustrates people who seek control. Manipulative people depend on emotional reactions. They want you angry. They want you defensive. They want you distracted. The moment you refuse to react, their strategy begins to fail. You don't need their permission to remain calm. Remember this. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every criticism deserves your response. Not every battle deserves your participation. You have a choice. Before speaking, ask yourself 3 simple questions. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it helpful? If the answer is no, silence is usually the better option. Simple. Powerful, effective. That's the key. Many people confuse silence with fear. They believe walking away means losing, but emotional maturity understands something different. Walking away from unnecessary conflict is not surrender. It is wisdom. It is discipline. It's not about proving yourself. It's about protecting your peace. Every minute spent arguing is a minute stolen from your purpose. Imagine investing that same energy into learning, building, creating, improving. Your future changes because your attention changes. Where attention goes, results follow. You have a choice. Silence also makes you a better observer. People reveal themselves when you stop talking. They reveal their intentions, their habits, their insecurities, their honesty. Most people are too busy speaking to notice what others are showing them. Become the observer, watch more, judge less. Listen carefully. That's the key. Great negotiators listen more than they speak. Great leaders ask more questions than they answer. Great teachers understand before they explain. There is a reason for this. Information belongs to the listener. The person speaking is giving information away. The person listening is collecting it. Become the collector. Learn before reacting. Understand before deciding. Observe before speaking. You have a choice. Silence also strengthens confidence. People who constantly explain themselves often seek approval. They want everyone to understand their choices. They want everyone to agree. That need creates weakness. Confident people make decisions, then they move forward. Without endless explanations, without endless apologies, without endless justification. You don't need their permission. You do not owe everyone an explanation for your immediate answers, immediate reactions. Silence interrupts that pattern. One deep breath, one quiet moment, one pause, suddenly your logical mind catches up. You begin asking better questions. What is really happening here? What outcome do I actually want? Will my words improve this situation? If not, stay silent. You have a choice. Practice this every day. When someone interrupts you, pause. When someone criticizes you, pause. When someone disappoints you, pause. Do not fear the silence. Use it. Inside that pause lives wisdom. Inside that pause lives discipline. Inside that pause lives power. That's the key. Silence is also essential when chasing success. You have a choice. Practice this every day. When someone interrupts you, pause. When someone criticizes you, pause. When someone disappoints you, pause. Do not fear the silence. Use it. Inside that pause lives wisdom. Inside that pause lives discipline. Inside that pause lives power. That's the key. Silence is also essential when chasing success. You have a choice. Protect your energy from gossip. Protect your attention from drama. Protect your mind from unnecessary noise. Every conversation should have a purpose. Every word should have value. Every response should move you closer to becoming the person you want to be. Anything else is a distraction. Remember this sentence. Silence is not empty. It is full of strength. It gives you space to think. It gives you room to grow. It keeps your emotions under control. It prevents mistakes that words cannot erase. The loudest person rarely has the greatest influence. The calmest person often does. That's the key. Make silence part of your daily discipline. Listen more than you speak. Observe more than you judge. Respond more than you react. Walk away from arguments that cannot improve your life. Protect your peace as if it were your greatest investment, because it is. Every moment of disciplined silence strengthens emotional control. Every calm response weakens the power of chaos. Every thoughtful pause brings you one step closer to becoming emotionally unshakable. You have mastered the discipline of silence. But there is another habit that quietly steals peace from millions of people every single day. It is the habit of making every criticism, rejection, and misunderstanding feel personal. It's time to break that habit forever. Chapter 4. Stop taking everything personally. Most people are not thinking about you as much as you think they are. Think about that. You spend hours replaying one conversation, one comment, one look, one moment of criticism. Meanwhile, the other person has probably moved on with their day, yet you are still carrying the weight. Why? Because you made it personal, that's the key. Not everything that happens around you is happening because of you. People speak from their own experiences. They judge through their own beliefs. Most people are not thinking about you as much they react from their own emotions. When someone is angry, they often spread anger. When someone is insecure, they often criticize others. When someone lacks confidence, they often try to pull confident people down. Their behavior tells you more about them than it does about you. You have a choice. You can absorb their negativity, or you can let it pass. Choose wisely. Imagine walking through the rain. You expect to get wet. Now imagine walking through life. Why do you expect everyone to understand you? Why do you expect everyone to like you? Why do you expect everyone to agree with you? They won't, and that's perfectly fine. The moment you stop expecting universal approval, you become emotionally free. That's the key. Many people waste years trying to prove themselves. They want everyone to recognize their value. They explain every decision. They defend every mistake. They argue with every critic. But no matter how hard you try, someone will always misunderstand you. Accept it. You don't need their permission. You don't need permission to improve. You don't need permission to succeed. You don't need permission to live according to your values. Your life is not a public vote. It is your responsibility. You have a choice. Stop giving strangers the authority to decide how you feel. One careless comment should not ruin your confidence. One rejection should not destroy your ambition. One failure should not define your future. Those events are moments, not identities. It's not about rejection. It's about discipline. The discipline to keep moving forward even when people doubt you. The discipline to believe in yourself when nobody else does. The discipline to stay calm when criticism becomes loud. That's the key. Here's something most people never realize.
Criticism is often proof that you are doing something noticeable. People rarely criticize someone one ever tries. They criticize people who are growing. They criticize people who are changing. They criticize people who remind them of what they have not become. Do not fear criticism. Study it if it contains truth. Learn from it if it contains truth. Future think about a M. Mirror, reflect. TS. What stands in FR? Aunt of it. People of t. Do the same thing. N. Angry person, reflect. CT's angera. Jealous person reflects jealousy. A fearful person reflects feardo. Not mistake their reflection for your identity. That's the key. Another habit that creates unnecessary suffering is assumption. Someone walks past you without saying hello. You assume they dislike you. Your manager gives brief feedback. You assume you're about to lose your job. Friend cancels plans. You assumeth friendship is ending. Your mind create stories long before it finds facts. Believing every story your emotions tell. Replace assumptions with questions. Replace fear with curiosity. Replace panic with patience. You have a choice. Ask yourself, what evidence do I actually have? Not what do I feel, what do I know? That one question has the power to stop hundreds of unnecessary worries. Strong minds look for facts, weak minds chase assumptions. That's the key. The next time someone rejects your idea, remember this: they rejected an idea, not your worth. The next time someone criticizes remember this: they criticized your performance, not your Nential the next time, s. Omewane disagrees, wit. H. You remember this. Disagreement is not d. Is respect, do not confuse the two. It's not about your ego, it's about discipline. Your ego wants to fight, your discipline chooses peace. Your ego wants revenge, your discipline chooses growth. Your ego wants approval, your discipline chooses purpose. Every day, those two voices compete inside you. Which one will you feed? You have a choice. Successful people understand something that emotionally reactive people never learn. You cannot control opinions. You cannot control rumors. You cannot control rejection, but you can always control your response. That is your greatest power. Guard it carefully. Protect it every single day. Because once you lose control of your response, you lose control of your direction. That's the key. Practice emotional distance. Listen without absorbing. Observe without overreacting. Learn without becoming offended. Forgive without forgetting the lesson. This is not weakness. This is maturity. Will understand your journey. Not everyone will support your D. Reams. Not everyone with LL. Celebrate your success. Keep moving anyway. Your mission is bigger than their opinion. Your future is more valuable than today's criticism. Your peace is worth protecting. Never sacrifice it to win an argument. Remember this sentence. Other people's opinions are temporary. Your character is permanent. Invest in what lasts. Every time you refuse to take something personally, you become harder to manipulate. I'll become stronger every time you choose purpose over pride. Ya. Oh. Move one step closer, sir, to mastering the art of not reacting. That's the key. You have learned to stop allowing other people's opinions to define your emotions. But emotional freedom alone is not enough to become truly unstoppable. You must build something stronger than feelings. You must build discipline. Because emotions come and go, discipline remains. Chapter 5. Discipline beats emotion every time.
Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. That is the difference between people who dream and people who achieve. Every person starts with excitement. Very few continue when that excitement disappears. That's the key. If you only work when you feel motivated, your progress will always be inconsistent. Some days you will work hard. Other days you will do nothing. Your future cannot depend on your feelings. It must depend on your habits. You have a choice. Every morning your emotions will ask one question. How do I feel today? Discipline asks a different question. What must be done today? Successful people answer the second question every single time. It's not about motivation. It's about discipline. Think about an athlete preparing for a championship. They wake up before sunrise. They train when they are tired. They train when they are sore. They train when nobody is watching. Why? Because they understand something most people never learn. Champions are not created on the days they feel inspired. They are created on the days they don't. That's the key. Your emotions will always try to negotiate. Skip today. You deserve a break. Start tomorrow. It won't matter. Listen carefully. Those are not facts. They are excuses. The more often you listen to them, the weaker your discipline becomes. You have a choice. Every excuse you accept trains your mind to quit. Every promise you keep trains your mind to trust you. Ask yourself this question. Can you trust yourself? If you promise to wake up early, do you? If you promise to exercise, do you? If you promise to study, do you? If the answer is no, don't lose hope. Start rebuilding that trust today. One promise, one action, one victory at a time. That's the key. Self-confidence does not come from positive thinking alone. It comes from evidence. Every time you do what you said you would do, you collect evidence that you are reliable. You begin to respect yourself. That respect becomes confidence. Confidence becomes courage. Courage becomes action. Action changes your life. You have a choice. Stop chasing motivation. Start building systems. Do not ask yourself whether you feel like reading. Read. Do not ask yourself whether you feel like exercising. Exercise. Do not ask